What if the very logic of your mind, the way you decide yes or no, could be written down as math? What if that math could then teach a machine to think? This is not science fiction. It is the story of a man whose ideas laid the very foundation for our digital world. In a quiet corner of the 19th century, one brilliant mind imagined the language that would one day power everything from your smartphone to the vast networks of the internet. This is the story of George Boole, the man who taught machines to think. Our story begins not in a grand university, but in the humble surroundings of 1830s England. Here, a young George Boole, born to a shoemaker, served as a schoolmaster. His formal education was limited, but his intellectual hunger was boundless. By day, he dutifully instructed children in basic arithmetic and reading. But when night fell, his real work began. By the flickering light of a single candle, he would lose himself in the complex worlds of calculus and algebra, devouring advanced mathematics texts meant for privileged university students. He taught himself French, German, and Latin, not just for the love of language, but to access the greatest mathematical minds of Europe. It was during these solitary nights of study that Boole became fascinated by something deeper than just numbers. He was captivated by the very structure of human thought, the invisible rules that govern our reasoning. He began to wonder if logic itself could be described with the same precision as a mathematical equation. That profound question culminated in 1854 with the publication of his masterwork, An Investigation of the Laws of Thought. In its pages, Boole presented a revolutionary idea, one that was both stunningly simple and unimaginably powerful. He proposed that logic could be expressed through algebra. The complex processes of human reasoning could be distilled into a clear, symbolic system. Abstract concepts like truth and falsehood were assigned the binary values of 1 and 0. Simple, everyday words that we use to connect ideas, words like and, or, and not, were transformed into mathematical operators. For the first time, the ethereal realm of logic was given a concrete, calculable form. He had created a new kind of mathematics, an algebra of ideas. Despite its brilliance, the world was not ready for Boolean algebra. In the mid-19th century, his work was seen as little more than a philosophical oddity. When Boole presented his ideas to his academic peers, they were met with a mix of polite curiosity and quiet confusion. They saw it as an elegant, but ultimately useless, exercise in abstract thought. To them, it was a novel way to map the pathways of logic, a strange intersection of mathematics and philosophy, but it had no apparent practical application. That purpose would arrive nearly a century later, in the nascent world of electrical engineering. In the 1930s, engineers were grappling with the immense challenge of designing increasingly complex telephone switching circuits. A young graduate student named Claude Shannon, studying these labyrinthine networks, stumbled upon Boole's century-old work. He had a moment of pure genius. Shannon realized that Boole's binary system of ones and zeros was the perfect language to describe the behavior of an electrical switch, which could only be in one of two states, ON or OFF. In that instant, Boole's abstract logic was given a physical body. His ones and zeros became the lifeblood of electronics, forming the basis for logic gates that could perform calculations at incredible speeds. From those first simple circuits, the entire digital age was born. Boole's equations, once a mere academic curiosity, now form the fundamental language of every computer processor, every line of code, and every pixel that glows on your screen. The schoolmaster's dream had become our modern reality.